Welcome to Real Life English. I'm Emma.
And I'm Leo.
Today, we're going to have a real conversation about hobbies.
But not just talking about what we like to do. We're going to show you how to talk about hobbies in English.
Because a lot of people know words like, I like reading, or I enjoy cooking. But when someone asks a follow-up question, they freeze.
Exactly. So today we're going to fix that. We'll show you the phrases, the questions, the little expressions that make a hobby conversation feel natural.
And we'll do it the fun way, with real stories, some embarrassing moments, and maybe a few things we've never told each other before.
Wait, really?
We'll see. Let's get started.
Okay, Emma. Let's start with the most basic question. What are your hobbies?
Oh no, I hate this question.
Really? Why?
Because whenever someone asks me that in real life, my mind just goes blank. I suddenly can't think of a single thing I do.
I know that feeling. It's like I do things every day, but the moment someone asks, I forget all of them.
Exactly. And then you say something like, I like watching TV, and it sounds so boring.
So here's the thing. The question, what are your hobbies, can feel a little formal. In real life, people often ask it differently.
Right. More natural ways to ask are, what do you do in your free time? Or, what do you like to do when you're not working? Or even just, are you into anything these days?
Are you into anything these days? I love that one. It feels very casual and friendly.
And into is such a useful word. Instead of saying, I like something, you can say, I'm into it. I'm into cooking. I'm into photography. I'm really into hiking lately.
Lately is a great word to add too. It means recently, or in this period of time. So you're telling people what you're interested in right now, not just in general.
Like, I might not be into the same things I was 3 years ago. People change.
That's true. I used to be really into video games when I was younger. Now, not so much.
See, not so much is another natural phrase. It means not really, but it sounds softer, less direct.
Instead of saying, I don't like it anymore, you say, I'm not so into it these days. Much more natural.
Okay, so let's go over this quickly before we move on. To ask about hobbies, you can say, what do you do in your free time? What are you into these days? Do you have any hobbies? And to answer, instead of just, I like reading, try, I'm really into reading lately, or I've been spending a lot of time painting recently.
Adding those small details, lately, recently, these days, makes your answer sound so much more like a real person talking.
Not a textbook.
Definitely not a textbook.
Okay, Leo, I want to play a little game.
A game?
Yes, I want you to tell me a hobby you've never mentioned to most people, something you feel a little embarrassed about.
Oh, okay. Promise you won't laugh?
No promises.
I collect stickers.
Stickers?
Yes, like beautiful stickers. I have a whole book of them. Travel stickers, food stickers, little plant stickers.
Leo, that is adorable.
See, I knew you'd react like that.
No, I'm serious. I think that's really cute. But I get why you might feel shy about saying it. A lot of people have hobbies they think sound too small or not impressive enough.
Right. Like if someone asks your hobby and you say, I climb mountains, people go, wow. But if you say, I collect stickers, people go, oh.
But here's the thing. Every hobby has a story, and the story is what makes it interesting. So, Leo, why do you collect stickers?
Honestly, it started when I was traveling. I bought a sticker from every city I visited, and then I just kept going. Now, whenever I find a sticker that makes me smile, I buy it.
See, now I'm really interested. It's not just I collect stickers. It's every sticker reminds me of a place or a moment.
Okay, I see your point. The story behind the hobby is more interesting than the hobby itself.
Exactly. So when you talk about your hobby in English, don't just name it. Add a little story. Say why you started or what it means to you.
Like, I got into it because, or I started when.
Perfect phrases. I got into it when I was living abroad. I started during a long holiday and just kept going. A friend introduced me to it and I was hooked.
Hooked like a fish on a hook. You can't get away.
Right. I was hooked from the first time I tried it. It means you loved it immediately and couldn't stop.
Okay, your turn. What's your embarrassing hobby?
I make little videos of my food before I eat it.
Ugh, that's not embarrassing. That's just social media.
No, no, not for social media, just for myself. I have hundreds of videos of meals that no one will ever see.
That is a little strange.
I know, but I love it. Looking back at old food videos makes me happy. It's like a delicious diary.
A delicious diary. I love that. So you'd say, I got into filming my food a few years ago. I just find it really satisfying to look back at.
Exactly. And satisfying is a great word for talking about hobbies. It means it gives you a deep feeling of happiness, like something feels complete and good.
I find it really satisfying. It's so satisfying when you finish a painting. There's something really satisfying about cooking a meal from scratch.
From scratch. That means making something completely from the beginning, with no shortcuts.
I love cooking from scratch. It takes longer, but it feels so much better.
Leo, do you ever find it hard to talk about hobbies with someone who has completely different interests?
Oh, all the time. Like, I have a friend who is really into extreme sports. Rock climbing, surfing, skydiving.
And you collect stickers.
And I collect stickers. Yes, we are very different people.
How do you keep the conversation going?
I ask a lot of questions. Even if I don't understand why someone loves something, I ask them about it. And people love talking about what they love.
That is such good advice. You don't have to share someone's hobby to have a great conversation about it. You just have to be curious.
And there are some great phrases for showing curiosity, like, I've never tried that. What's it like? Or, how did you get into that? Or, is it hard to learn?
What's it like is so useful. The person can answer however they want, and it shows you're really interested.
And how did you get into that? Get into means to become interested in something and start doing it. How did she get into pottery? How did he get into photography?
I got into painting because my grandmother used to paint. I watched her when I was little and always wanted to try.
See, now I know so much more about you. One question and you gave me a whole story.
That's the magic of how did you get into it. It almost always gives you a good story.
What if you try something and you don't like it? How do you say that politely?
Great question. You don't want to say, that sounds terrible, if someone loves it. Instead, you can say, it's not really my thing, but I can see why people love it. Or, I tried it once and it wasn't for me, but you make it sound amazing.
It's not really my thing. Very polite, very natural.
And it wasn't for me means it didn't suit you personally, but you're not saying it's bad.
These phrases are really important because when you're making new friends, you want to be honest but also kind.
Exactly. Real conversation is about connection, not just exchanging information. Okay, I want to talk about something that happens to a lot of learners. You ask, what's your hobby? They answer. You say, oh, cool. And then silence.
That uncomfortable silence. How do you avoid that?
Follow-up questions. They are the secret to every good conversation.
Can you give some examples?
Of course. Let's say someone tells you they like running. Instead of just saying, oh, nice, you can ask, do you run in the morning or evening? Have you done any races? How far do you usually run? Did you always like running or did you start recently?
Any one of those questions could lead to a 5-minute conversation.
Exactly. And here's a little trick. Listen for details in what they say and ask about those details.
Like if someone says, I like hiking, especially in autumn.
You pick up autumn and ask, why autumn? Is the scenery better?
And suddenly you're having a real conversation.
Right. You're not following a fixed plan. You're actually listening and responding.
I think a lot of learners are so focused on what they're going to say next that they forget to really listen.
Yes. And when you really listen, the next thing to say comes naturally. You don't have to think so hard.
That's true in any language.
Completely. Okay, another tip. Share your own experience when you respond. Don't just ask questions one after another. That can feel like an interview.
Right. So instead of do you cook, what do you cook, when do you cook, which sounds like an interview,
You go, do you cook? They say yes. You say, oh, really? I just started cooking more at home. I'm terrible at it, but I enjoy it. What about you? What do you like to make?
you shared something, then asked. It goes back and forth, like a friendly tennis game. Both sides are playing.
I like that. Conversation is a tennis game, not just one person serving.
Exactly. Both people are involved.
Okay, we've covered a lot today. Let's do a quick practice. Leo, imagine you just met me for the first time.
Okay. Hi, I'm Leo. Nice to meet you.
Hi, Leo. I'm Emma. Nice to meet you too.
So, Emma, what do you like to do in your free time?
Honestly, I've been really into painting lately. I just find it so relaxing after a long week.
Oh, wow, painting. How did you get into that?
My grandmother used to paint when I was little. I always watched her, and a couple of years ago, I finally decided to try it myself.
That's such a lovely story. Do you paint at home or do you take classes?
Both, actually. I have a small class once a week, but I also paint at home by myself. It's kind of like my quiet time.
I completely get that. I need that kind of quiet time too. For me, it's reading. Just me and the book. Very calming.
Oh, what kind of books are you into?
Mystery novels mostly. I love trying to figure out who did it before the end.
Have you read anything good recently?
Actually, yes. I finished one last week and I was up until 2 in the morning because I couldn't put it down.
Okay, stop there.
See how natural that felt? We covered asking about hobbies, explaining how you got into something, sharing why you love it, and connecting over similar feelings.
And no one said, I like reading. Do you like reading? What do you like? It was a real back and forth. Both of us were sharing and asking.
If you can do what we just did, ask, share, listen, respond, you can have this conversation with anyone, in English, anywhere in the world.
And remember, your hobby doesn't have to be impressive. It doesn't have to be extreme sports or learning 5 languages.
It can be collecting stickers.
It can be filming your dinner.
The point is, it's yours. And when you talk about something you really love, it always sounds interesting.
Because people don't just connect over hobbies, they connect over stories, over the feeling of loving something.
Well said, Emma.
Thank you, Leo. Okay, one last thing before we go. We want to hear from you. What are you into these days? Tell us in the comments. In English, of course.
And if there's a hobby you feel embarrassed about, even better. We'd love to hear it.
We won't judge. I film my dinner, remember.
And I collect stickers. We can't judge anyone.
Thanks for listening today. If this helped you, please like the video and subscribe for more real-life English content.
See you next time.
Bye!